Simple raised gardens. I'm gonna use these 55-gallon drums I picked up. I got 4 of them, so it's gonna make 8 planters. My first step is gonna be, there's a seam between the bungs here. I'll remove the bungs, cut along this seam, splitting the barrel in half. I'll follow that line the best I can down and all the way through and have 2 halves of the barrel. There was some cleaning agents in these. They were rinsed out, they told me, but just to be safe, it's still early. There's still snow on the ground. Spring is just starting, so I got some time to play around. I'm gonna cut them open, leave them out in the elements, let the sun kind of bleach them out, the rain wash them out, dump the rain out every so often, and just kind of make sure that they're clear of any kind of chemicals. And if I feel there's any kind of odor or anything, what I'll do is I'll line this with greenhouse plastic, and when I fill with dirt. But I think they're going to be fine. There's just some mild detergents within them. So let's get started. I had all intentions of using a Sawzall to do this, and when I went to grab my Sawzall, I see my circular saw and said, you know what, that might do the job nicer. Nice, cleaner, straight cuts. So it's going to work great like that. And there is a seam right down the edge too, so if I follow that line, we're golden. There's our half barrel right there. They're pretty clean inside, but I'll let the weather take care of it. I'll get the rest of these cut up, and I'll be with you on the next step, but it's going to be probably a couple weeks, so I'll see you in a couple weeks. Okay, so I got 2x4s, and these are actual true 2x4s, rough cut lumber. Support your local small business. So you can use store-bought 2x4s, obviously. These were a little bit cheaper, and they're a little bit heavier, so I think they'll last longer. Of course, you could go with pressure-treated lumber if you really want to last forever, but I'm sure I'll get many, many years out of these. Anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one 2x4, and I'm going to cut a 2-foot section and 2 3-foot sections. Okay, one 2-foot 2x4 and 2 3-foot 2x4s. Now on the 3-footers, half a 3-foot is 18 inches. I'm going to mark 18 with my speed square, and we're going to get a center line on both the 3-foot pieces here. 18 inches. Okay, that's our center mark. And if you don't have a pencil holder, you could use a pocket. Anyways, now we're going to make 2 sets of these identical, but what we're going to end up doing here is using those center marks. You're going to line them up so the line is right here, so that's straight on that line, and then I'm going to use my square off this edge, and I'm going to line it up with this center line that I put on this one, and kind of go back and forth, making sure that it doesn't move on that line, and adjust it as need be. So this edge is lined up with the center here, and this edge is lined up with the center of this board. So that's basically it right there. And now I'm going to use a nail gun, but screws will work great. Nails, a lag bolt. I'm nail gunning them, and I'll probably go back through after with one single lag bolt in the middle, just for extra reinforcement. But I might not. I'm going to see how they hold up with the weight, and see how sturdy they are. But I'll put 4 nails on this side, flip it, do 4 nails that way. I think that'll probably be good. So we'll get that done now. That's it. So as you can see, the leg part is longer than the top part. So you got a wider base, so it's going to be more sturdy this way. So I'm going to make another one identical to this now, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I have the 2 pieces done, all nailed together. Now it's important to take note, when I nail these together, they have to be facing the same way. In other words, this board is in front of this one, this board is in front of this one. They're identical. You don't want to put this board on the face of this one, then this board on the inside face, because that'll screw up your 2-foot cross piece member. So make them identical. Just take note, because you can do it backwards. And if you do one backwards, just make another one backwards for that one. You don't need to take it apart, unless of course you're only building one of these, which would be silly because you get two stands out of one barrel. So anyways, that's what you do. So they're basically going to go together with the cross member in between them like this. So you want to mark for the cross member on the inside piece. So I just use my square. It doesn't really matter how far down you go. I try to get about in the middle, which is about the length of this square, which is 7 inches. So put a mark there, mark here, and you can square off these marks here. And that's going to line up your cross member. So on this face, and then on this face this time, because they're going to face each other. That'll be it. Okay, now what you want to do is kind of work with these. Store-bought 2x4s be a little bit lighter to mess around with, but this is what I got and this is what I wanted. So what I'm doing is I'm putting these just below that line. You don't want to put them above it. And below is pretty much centered. So I'll hold that on that line, so my line is on this face right here, and I'm eyeballing that up, and I will nail that, or if you want to screw, then you screw it. I can do this here with one hand. It's hard getting the first one in. And what I'll do is I'll put a couple toenails to this side. And then after I'll put some from the bottom that way. Just because I'm using nails and they are just grabbing in by like an inch and a quarter maybe. So I want them to be sturdy, I want them to last. Long screws, you probably don't have to mess around with that, or obviously store 2x4s which aren't 2x4. So that's that. And we'll bring our other one over here and do the same thing. Just like that, and we will repeat the process on this side. I got that all together. Now what I'm going to do, now if you're using regular 8-foot store-bought, this is going to be exactly 2 2x4s with 0 waste. So if you want to do this step, which I recommend, buy an extra couple 2x4s or one, depending on how many you're making, obviously. One will go a long way. Just cut like a 4 or 6 inch, 5 inch block, whatever. I'm gonna do 4, so these are nice square 4x4. I'll cut 2 4x4 blocks, and I'm going to put them on the inside. One right here, so it's supporting underneath this, and then I'm going to put one right here, so it's supporting underneath this, just to give it that extra support so it doesn't want to spread apart. Once it has the weight of soil, water, plants, etc., it's going to be sturdy. So I'll cut those 2 blocks, get them installed, and that's it for that. And then, remember these? There you go. So at this point, what I'll do is I'll get this on the ground. I'll measure from here to here, and I'll kind of get it so it's, you know, level this way. And I will take screws, probably with some small washers, and I'll screw through 4 spots into these here, so it won't tip, slide, move. It'll be all secured together. Plus this will help secure the whole thing as one. At that point, I'm going to take probably 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch drill bit, and drill 4 or 6 holes directly down the bottom right here for drainage. I'll probably put a strip of burlap in the bottom so soil doesn't go through the holes. And I'm not going to fill these all the way with soil because soil is expensive, good soil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to gather some of the limbs and twigs and things that fell over the winter in the yard, and if I got to hit the woods and grab some debris, I'll do that. And I'll fill probably, be on me, they're out already. I'll fill probably to about here, a little less than 1/4 of the way, with twigs and stuff. Put some soil, some regular soil on top of that, mat it down, and then I'll put some good raised bed soil for the top 1/3 or so. And what that'll do, those twigs in there, it'll give it some aeration in the soil, which is good for roots. And as that wood decomposes, it'll put nutrients back into the soil. And over the years, of course, it will decompose and your soil will drop, and that'll give you room to put new, fresh raised garden bed soil on top and continue on. So that's basically it. I got my work cut out on building the rest of these, and at some point I'll do a follow-up when I have them all in the garden. I have a lot of work to do there, but I will do a follow-up video on that, so don't forget to subscribe, and I appreciate it. Please like the video and let me know what you think. What would you have done differently? You like what I did? Are you going to try it? Have you done it? Whatever, leave me a comment down below. I love keeping the conversation going.